A man walks into his doctor's office for a routine checkup. Blood pressure, perfect. Heart rhythm, strong. Cholesterol, textbook clean. By every measure that medicine typically uses, he is the picture of health. But then, his doctor notices something that no blood test in the world would have caught, something in the way he moved, or more accurately, the way he barely did. So the doctor asks him to do one thing, just one. Sit back in that chair, cross your arms over your chest, and stand up for me without using your hands. The man shifts forward, reaches for the armrest, pushes down hard, rocks his body twice before finally getting upright. And then he says the 5 words that changed everything about how this doctor thought about aging. But I go to the gym. That sentence, right there. That's the trap millions of people are living inside right now, and most of them won't realize it until it's too late. Because what this man was experiencing wasn't a heart problem. It wasn't a blood sugar problem. It wasn't even a fitness problem in the traditional sense. It was something far more invisible, far more insidious. 7 silent thieves had been living inside his home for years, hiding in plain sight, slowly, quietly, methodically stealing the one thing no doctor's visit can give back once it's gone, his independence. And here's what should genuinely concern you right now. At least one of these thieves is inside your home, possibly all 7. And the most dangerous one, the one ranked number 1 on this list, is something you're almost certainly using at this exact moment. I'm going to show you every single one, least dangerous to most dangerous, what they steal, how they steal it, and exactly how to stop them. And I'll tell you something else. I'll tell you which one and what finally woke me up. If you want to reach your 80s and 90s, still climbing your own stairs, still carrying your own groceries, still living entirely on your own terms, I am Dr. James Ray. Stay with me through this entire video. Let's go. Before we get to the thieves, I need to take you somewhere. There's a small island off the southern coast of Japan called Okinawa. For decades, researchers have traveled there trying to understand why so many residents live past 90. And why so many of them remain physically independent well into those final years. They expected to find advanced medicine, cutting-edge supplements, rigorous fitness routines. What they found instead was almost embarrassingly ordinary. Small homes, simple food, neighbors who checked on each other, and daily lives that required, without anyone planning it, constant, gentle, varied movement from morning until night. No one was doing formal exercise, but no one was sitting still for hours at a stretch either. They were cooking, walking to get things, getting up off the floor, tending gardens, visiting friends on foot. Their environment was quietly keeping them strong without them ever calling it a workout. Our modern homes do the exact opposite. We have engineered every last drop of physical effort out of daily life, and we did it believing we were making things better. That's precisely where the 7 thieves hide. And the terrifying part? They look like comfort, they feel like convenience, and they operate completely below the radar of your awareness, until one day you reach for an armrest just to stand up from a chair. Thief number 7. The oversized water jug. Stay with me here, because I know how this sounds. The giant water jug sitting on your desk, the one you filled up this morning so you'd stay hydrated all day without having to get up. The water is not the problem. Hydration is genuinely important. That's not what we're talking about. The thief is what that jug eliminates from your day. Think about the architecture of a typical modern day. You wake up and sit down for breakfast. You sit in the car. You sit at a desk. You sit in meetings. You sit in the car again. You come home and sit on the couch. Life becomes one long journey from one seated surface to the next. Now here's what researchers consistently find in the world's most independently aging populations. They're not doing marathon workouts, but they almost never stop moving throughout the day. Every time they need water, they get up. Every time they need something from another room, they walk to it. Every errand, every small task, every tiny inconvenience becomes an invisible repetition that their body needs. When you keep everything within arm's reach, the jug, the remote, the phone charger, the snacks, the delivery apps, you are unknowingly eliminating what adds up to 30, 40, sometimes 50 natural stand-ups per day. Over a year, that's tens of thousands of small movements that your legs, your core, and your cardiovascular system never get to make. And independence doesn't disappear in one dramatic collapse. It vanishes in quiet installments, one stolen stand-up at a time. The antidote is beautifully simple. Use a small glass. Walk to refill it. Stand up when a phone call ends. Pace while you listen to a podcast. Stop bringing the world to your chair. Make your body go out and get it. Thief number 6. The serving dish in the center of the table. There's a concept in Okinawa that's been studied for decades. The practice of stopping before you're completely full. Not hungry, not deprived, just satisfied rather than stuffed. And one of the quiet reasons this tends to happen more naturally in certain cultures is something researchers found hiding in plain sight: the physical setup of the meal itself. When large serving dishes sit in the center of the table, within easy reach throughout the entire meal, second helpings happen almost automatically. Not because of genuine hunger, not because of weak willpower, simply because the food is right there and your hand reaches before your brain catches up. Here's the biology worth understanding. Your stomach sends fullness signals to your brain, but those signals take approximately 15 to 20 minutes to arrive. If you're eating quickly and the food is constantly within reach, you will almost always overshoot what your body actually needed and never feel it happening. This isn't about discipline, it's about distance. The fix: plate your food at the stove or kitchen counter before you sit down. Keep serving dishes off the table entirely. Eat slowly. Give yourself 10 minutes before deciding whether you actually want more. You're not fighting hunger, you're just taking the thief off the table. Literally, the healthiest people in the world don't have superhuman self-control. They simply build their environment so the right choice is also the easiest one. Thief number 5. The pantry full of packages. Here's a quick experiment I want you to try. Go to your pantry, or just picture it right now. Count the items that come in a box, a bag, a wrapper, or a can. Then count the fresh, simple, whole foods. What's the ratio? If packaged convenience foods outnumber real ingredients by a wide margin, thief number 5 has quietly taken over your kitchen, and with it, more control over what you eat than you probably realize. Because here's the truth that nutrition science keeps confirming: most people don't make food choices based on careful deliberation. They eat what's available, what's close, what's fast, what's already in the house. Ultra-processed foods don't just affect your nutrition, they reshape your defaults. They become the path of least resistance, and the path of least resistance is the one your brain chooses automatically when you're tired, stressed, or distracted, which is most of the time. I want to be honest here. I'm not suggesting that every packaged food is poison or that you need to live like a nutritionist. Real life has real constraints. Budgets, schedules, family dynamics, energy levels, they all matter. But there's a meaningful difference between a kitchen where the easiest thing to grab is a handful of walnuts, a piece of fruit, some leftover beans, or a hard-boiled egg, versus one where the easiest thing is a processed snack engineered specifically to make you want more before you've finished it. The practical shift: aim for at least 3 natural colors on your plate each day. Each week, replace just one ultra-processed habit with something simpler and more real. You don't need a complete overhaul. You need the healthy option to become easier to reach than the alternative. If it doesn't live in your house, you can only eat it when you actually make the effort to go get it. That alone changes the equation. Thief number 4. The phone on your nightstand. The first 3 thieves work during daylight hours. This one waits until dark. It's 12 inches from your pillow. You check one message after dinner just to see if anything needs attention. Then one video, then a few headlines, then some photos from someone you follow. Then somehow 40 minutes have passed and you're still lying there, eyes wide open, brain fully activated, body nowhere near sleep, and you tell yourself you're winding down. You're not. Here's the neurological reality. Your brain is not a light switch. You cannot take it from full engagement to deep sleep in an instant. It needs a runway, a gradual descent from the stimulation of the day toward the stillness of sleep. The phone, specifically the emotional engagement it triggers, the light it emits, The unpredictable rewards it delivers is the single most effective runway blocker that exists in the modern bedroom. It keeps your mind at altitude long after your body is ready to land. In contrast, look at evening routines in cultures with documented longevity. They almost universally share something in common: a signal that the day is ending, lower light, less stimulation, familiar, calming sequences, a warm bath, herbal tea, gentle reading, quiet conversation, the same steps in the same order, telling the nervous system, we are done now, time to descend. The practical shift. Give yourself a 30-minute runway before sleep. Dim the lights in your home. Charge your phone in another room, or at minimum, across the room with the screen face down. Follow the same wind-down sequence every night. The brain loves predictability. The more consistent your evening ritual, the faster and deeper you'll sleep. And sleep, deep, restorative sleep, is one of the most powerful health tools that exists. When it goes missing night after night, everything else starts to erode with it. Thief number 3, the overflowing contact list. We are entering the top 3 now, and this one might be the most counterintuitive on the entire list. You have hundreds of contacts, dozens of group chats, messages arriving all day, notifications every few minutes. You're technically more connected to more people than any previous generation in human history. And yet, loneliness has become one of the most serious public health crises of our time. Because real connection is not measured in contacts or followers or group chat memberships. Real connection is measured by one question. If you disappeared from your routine for a week, truly went silent, who would notice? Who would call? Who would physically show up at your door? Not out of obligation, not because they saw something on your social media, but because your absence would genuinely feel wrong to them. The research on this is sobering. Chronic social isolation, the feeling that you don't truly matter to anyone, has measurable physical consequences. It elevates stress hormones, it disrupts sleep, it affects cardiovascular health, it accelerates cognitive decline. In some studies, the health impact of severe loneliness rivals that of smoking. In Okinawa, there's a tradition called moai, small, stable circles of people, often 5 to 8 individuals, who have committed to moving through life together. They share resources, celebrate milestones, notice when someone's missing, and show up without being asked. Not 500 acquaintances, 5 real people. The question I want you to sit with: can you name yours? Not your followers, not your contacts list, the 5 people who would feel your absence in their bones. If you can name them, protect those relationships like the health assets they are. If you struggle to name them, that's not a judgment. It's a signal, and it's one of the most important things you can work on for your long-term health. Thief number 2, the alarm clock without a purpose. The alarm goes off, and then what? What is actually pulling you out of bed? What is genuinely waiting for you on the other side of that morning? What do you need to show up for today that only you can do? In Japan, there's a concept that has become well known in health and longevity research: ikigai. A reason for being, a reason to get up, not a grand mission or a life-changing purpose. Something smaller and more personal than that. A garden that needs tending. A grandchild who expects your voice on the phone. A community that relies on your presence. A project still unfinished. An animal that depends on you. A friend who needs to walk with someone. A skill still worth developing. Research published in major medical journals has found a consistent pattern. Adults with a strong sense of purpose tend to live longer, maintain better physical function, take better care of their health, and recover more effectively from illness. The mechanics of why are actually fairly logical. When something or someone genuinely needs you tomorrow, you take your medications. You get enough sleep. You eat more carefully. You move more. You stay engaged with life instead of drifting away from it. Purpose doesn't generate discipline by itself, but it makes discipline feel worth it. And if your sense of purpose feels unclear right now, if retirement or loss or a major life transition has left that question unanswered, this is not a small thing to brush past. It may be the most important health project available to you. The question to return to: who or what still needs your presence? What part of life is still waiting for you to fully show up? When that answer becomes clear, the other 6 thieves start losing their grip. Thief number 1, the chair. I told you the most dangerous thief was something you're probably using right now. Look down. The chair, the couch, the recliner, the car seat, the office chair, the chair at the kitchen table, comfortable, useful, present in every single room of your home and every space you inhabit, and completely, ruthlessly dismantling your physical independence, 1 hour of stillness at a time. The human body operates by one of the most unforgiving rules in all of biology. What you use, it keeps. What you stop using, it takes back. Not gradually, not gently, steadily, methodically, without announcing itself. For thousands of years, daily life required humans to get down to the ground and back up again, to squat to cook, to kneel to tend crops, to sit cross-legged on floors. These weren't workouts. They were just life. And in performing them dozens of times every single day, people were building and maintaining the exact physical capabilities that allow independent living: leg strength, hip mobility, balance, core stability, and the neuromuscular coordination to control their own body through space. Modern furniture eliminated all of it. Higher chairs, softer couches, supportive armrests that do the work your legs used to do. We designed effort out of sitting and standing, and in doing so, we quietly accepted enormous physical consequences we never saw coming. The test. I want you to do this right now, but only if it's safe for you. If you have significant pain, serious balance issues, recent falls, or any medical condition that makes this risky, skip this or have someone nearby. For everyone else, sit in a firm chair. Cross your arms over your chest. No armrests, no rocking, no momentum. Stand up. Did you make it cleanly? Do it 4 more times, 5 total das, and pay attention to what your body does. If you stood up all 5 times with control and confidence, your legs are holding their ground against this thief. If you reached for the armrest, needed momentum, had to rock your weight forward, or found it genuinely difficult, your legs just showed you a receipt. They showed you what years of chairs and couches have quietly been taking. That information is not a verdict. It's a gift, because you caught it, and it can change. Still, for extended periods, certain biological processes shift, waste accumulates in muscle cells, repair slows, and the tissue essentially begins aging faster. But when the body moves, even in something as simple as standing up from a seated position, a cascade of proteins activates that clears that waste, repairs the tissue, and essentially hits a biological reset button in the muscle. The researchers found that this mechanism doesn't respond primarily to the intensity of exercise. It responds to frequency of movement throughout the day. 1 hour at the gym, followed by 11 hours of uninterrupted sitting, leaves that reset button switched off for the vast majority of your waking life. But standing up from a chair without using your hands, repeatedly throughout the day, keeps that mechanism active in a way that a single workout cannot replicate. Think about that for a moment. The single most accessible, practical, zero-equipment movement available to almost every adult, simply standing up from a chair under your own power, may be one of the most biologically meaningful things you do with your body all day. What this thief stole from me. I need to be honest with you. I work out. I always have. Strength training, cardio. I take my own health seriously as a physician and as a person, and I still fell into this trap. There was a period in my life when I analyzed my daily routine with real honesty and saw something uncomfortable. I was spending 3, 4, sometimes 5 consecutive hours without standing up, reading research, writing, seeing patients in back-to-back appointments, moving from one focused task directly to the next, and I was telling myself it was fine. I worked out this morning. I'm not sedentary. I'm a doctor. I know what I'm doing. But the biology doesn't negotiate with credentials. One workout session does not cancel 3 hours of biological stillness. It's like brushing your teeth perfectly for 45 minutes on Sunday and then not touching them again until the following weekend. The movement isn't cumulative in the way we hope. The body needs it distributed across the day, consistent small reminders that it still needs to work, still needs to support you, still needs to stay strong. When I changed that, when I started standing up between every task, taking calls, standing, building small movement into the gaps between focused work, everything shifted. The patient I told you about at the beginning of this video? I gave her the same simple instruction. Every time you sit down, practice standing back up without using your arms, when it feels safe. When she returned for her follow-up appointment, her legs were noticeably stronger. Not because of a miracle, not because of any supplement or procedure, because she gave her body back a movement it had been missing, and her body responded exactly the way bodies are designed to respond. Bringing it all together. 7 thieves, all of them hiding in the most ordinary, comfortable, familiar corners of your daily life. Thief number 7, the oversized water jug that eliminates your reasons to move. Thief number 6, the serving dish on the table that nudges you past fullness without your permission. Thief number 5, the pantry full of packages that reshapes your defaults without you noticing. Thief number 4, the phone on the nightstand that keeps your brain at altitude when it needs to land. Thief number 3, the overflowing contact list that creates the illusion of connection while real belonging quietly fades. Thief number 2, the purposeless alarm clock that removes the reason to take care of yourself in the first place. Thief number 1, the chair that accepts the physical work your legs were always meant to do until they forget how. None of these thieves announce themselves. None of them trigger alarms. None of them show up in a blood test until the damage is already done. But now you know their names, and knowing their names changes everything. Here's the only advice I'll give you about what to do next. Don't try to fix all 7 by tomorrow morning. That's not how real change works, and it's not how your brain is designed to build habits. Pick one. Just one. Practice it for 7 days until it starts to feel natural, then move to the next. 1 thief at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 decision at a time, because there really are 2 futures available to most of us. In one, you reach your 80s and 90s still standing on your own power, still climbing stairs, still traveling, still present for the people who need you, still the author of your own days. In the other, the world gets smaller, slowly at first, then faster than you expected, until 1 room, 1 chair, 1 person making decisions on your behalf becomes the boundary of your existence. That difference doesn't begin at 80. It's being written right now, today, in the quiet routines of ordinary life. By 7 thieves, you now know by name. So before you go, leave me a comment. Tell me which thief you're locking up first, or tell me which one surprised you most. And if someone came to mind while you were watching this, a parent who's been too still lately, a friend who barely leaves the house anymore, share this with them. You don't need to say anything complicated. Just send it and tell them, I want you in my life for a long time, and I want those years to be good ones. That's worth more than any supplement, any prescription, any medical intervention. It's the simplest thing, and it might be the most important. If this video gave you something worth keeping, subscribe and stay close. There's more coming that you'll want to hear. Your independence is worth protecting. Start today.